No, we used to change diapers, and of course everybody only had a outhouse. Nobody had any running water in their place. Everybody had to melt snow for water.
Did you ever have any animals?
No, I don't remember us ever having an animal. No.
Was
A
the
pet?
town more like a farm in the sense, like, were there animals around? Did people have
Well, I guess
sheep,
the
goats,
farmers
anything?
likely had animals. There were a lot of school children that came from the farm. Half of the, because the schools were a long ways apart from a small town, and so some of them rode in on horses, tied them up at something or other, and so then they had a way to go home. In the winter time, sometimes the father would come with one of those sleds with runners underneath, in case I don't know how late they would be going with a horse coming into town, but I can remember horses being tied up at some railing.
Do you remember how comfortable your places were in the winter if you had no electricity?
Oh, it was just like you're almost living outside. I mean, there was really no kind of insulation in those days. It was just like you could see through the cracks of through the walls.
And so did you have like a fire inside all these places?
Well, in the one house, in each house, we only had a kitchen stove. That's all. So,
And you used wood?
yep. You had to go out at the edge of town. There was, well, if you could afford it, I guess you could buy some logs. But if you had to go, you went out just outside of the city limits, town limits. There were, lots of trees there. People would go and chop trees down, and then somebody had to chop them down again in two sizes to go into the wood stove.
Do you remember any bad stories about people freezing to death or anything?
No.
Do you remember ever having to go to the hospital as a kid?
No.
And you were pretty healthy?
I guess so.
No bad spells of anything?
No.
Do you remember any stories about people who would ever like steal things, break into people's houses?
No.
Do you remember yourself ever getting into trouble, doing silly things with your friends or anything?
No.
Do you remember the first dance you went to?
First
Dance?
The first dance I went to was, I'd come to live in Saskatoon with Mum, and I went out there sometime during the summer holidays, and of course I was staying with Uncle Bill. And anyways, they were having a dance at this dance hall out at the lake, and of course he said you have to be home at 10 o'clock or some such hour, which of course their dances usually last until midnight, I would think. And anyways, I was having a great time, and kept looking at the clock. I kept saying, oh, I got to get home, I got to get home. My uncle will really be angry at me, with me. And anyways, I came home late. He was standing waiting for me. Everybody had gone to bed. And he said, well, why are you so late? And I said, well, I had to wait till somebody could bring me home. anyways, I guess there was a limit of what he would do to me, you know, being as it was his sister's daughter. So, but I can always remember that, and I can always remember running home when that town bell rang. Boy, I just knew I'd get a bawling out because I wasn't in the door.
Was he a spanker? Did he use a whip on the kids? What did he do?
No, I don't know. Well, if he did, I didn't know about him. But I know that he was very strict about with the children.
Do you remember him treating the girls different than the boys?
No. I know when Alec was just going to even public school, she was helping in a grocery store. The man across the street had a grocery store on the main street. And on a Saturday, she would work there from 8 in the morning till 10 at night. And she worked there till 10 because the farmers used to come in on Saturday, and so all the stores stayed open. And the man, he didn't pay her very much, and he just would give her a lot of fruit and vegetables that were getting they weren't too well to eat, good enough to eat. Anyways, she would wind up with a bag of fruit or vegetables in a bag that he would give her. So at least there was always something that you could get out of that bag.
Do you remember in school, did you go 5 days a week?
Yep.
And what would the hours be?
Oh, I imagine 9 to what, 4:30 probably.
And so for elementary school, how many kids in your class?
Do you know, and I have no pictures. Well, nobody had cameras in those days. Somebody had camera, might be 1 or 2 people in the whole town. Let's see. Probably 20 maybe. And of course, there were only a few teachers. We might have about 4 teachers. One of them would be the principal. And of course, the teachers were teaching 3 or 4 grades. Between them, they were teaching public and high school.
So would you have had the same teachers all through the grades?
Yeah, well, I only went there. I got, I think I did 2 years in 1 year, and so I was going to go into grade 10 when I left there in 1936 from 22. So I was 14. I must have turned 14, I guess. 22 from 36, 14. I would have been 14, going into grade 10. And anyways, I came to Saskatoon, and I wanted to take the commercial course because it was part of the new tech had opened, and it offered commercial courses in shorthand and accounting, and and you learned how to type, and so that's what I wound up doing after I finished school.
So to finish school, did you actually do a grade 10 or just grade 9?
It seems to me I must have gone into 10.
Was 10 the
So
highest
let's see,
grade
36,
at that time?
Oh no, it was grade 12. 36 to, and I don't know whether